building, G.
Are you measuring the building? So we're buying all four, basically that entire strip. It's almost 6 foot and he barely reaches. There's the loan for this deal. We've got 1.2 million. Because if this is the case, we might just pull out of the deal. Alright, this vlog style is going to be a bit different. This is on our UK deal. I have an inkling that I don't think this is probably going to go through, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's going to be more boring because you guys are going to be seeing the type of calls that we're having and how we're getting advice, but it's a very good lesson whether this still goes through or if it doesn't, on how we find out certain pieces of information. You know, when you're doing a build that's a GDV or a project that's more than $1 million, with this being around 2.2 maybe, it's not like a house. It's just a different caliber, especially when you have a lot of moving parts. We just have to find out certain things to do, especially when it's not ground up, but especially when we're dealing with a 150, 200-year-old building, considering it was built before World War II, before World War I, sorry. But this back in the 1890s, yeah, it's just checks has to be done. And especially because, you know, you don't want to hear on Sky News, you know, Moroccan brothers killed 100 people on a refurb or something like that. And I hope you guys enjoy this vlog.
I was wondering if I can speak to someone who can help me with this report if they're still in the company. It was back in 2021. If I can give you some details, maybe if I can email.
So you're looking to buy a property?
Yeah, we're looking to buy a site, and we've got the paperwork here back in 2021 that you guys have some reports that I'm looking at, and it was from RBC. This was back in 21. What could you guys advise in this situation? Because obviously we would rather use building control that have already, like, that are aware of the project than to go with another company, if that makes sense. Because there's a report, but we just want to clarify some things with you guys because we don't know if Gateway 2 applies on this site or not.
And I can forward it to anyone who I think that can help you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your help. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
What I mean by that, I can validly point out that lawyer knew that it was a development site and sent a bog standard contract that you would use to sell a house or a flat.
You know what?
And didn't even bother putting in the details of the buyer. This looks like it's Gateway 2 and blah, 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 blah. Then you're entitled to make sure that you get all that properly investigated.
Yeah, I know.
Morning, Christian, by the way. It's Osama here. I can hear the conversation.
Morning.
Yeah,
Morning.
It made me laugh when you said he measured it. But to be fair, we've bought a laser measure ourselves, so we're going to go there. I actually went there yesterday, and it's definitely 5 stories. So he's claiming, Louis sent me a message saying Michael went there and measured it at 13.1 meters. So let's find out. I'm going to find out today. Yeah. But I have a good feeling that it's not over 18 meters, definitely.
What you trying to do?
Measure the building, G.
Are you measuring the building?
Come on, you gotta know.
Okay, so the reason Osama's measuring the building, we're trying to buy 4 basement flats there and we need to exchange on it, inshallah. Purchase price is 600,000. We're about $500,000 on refurb. We've raised Islamic debt at 1.1 million. So we have to put down around 350 to 370,000 in equity, but something called Gateway 2 may apply here. In West London we had a fire, unfortunately, at Grenfell, and it's been a couple of years, but it regulated the housing market, especially here, with something called Gateway 2, which is if a building is, I think, 6 stories, I need to double check, I think it's 6 stories, or if it is 18 meters high, Gateway 2 applies, which means we have to go through BSR regulations. And that means that even if we purchased it, if we want to perform the refurb, even though we got planning permission, we need to get permission from the BSR. And that alone, you know, online it says like a year, but I know people that have been waiting 2 years, 2.5 years. We don't have that time, especially because we raised finance for, I mean, we have skin in the game, but we've also raised finance. So Osama's using a laser that goes up to 30 meters high in order for him to see what the building is. But you could see we got, basements don't count, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 5. So it's actually under, which is good. We measured it before, it was around, I think it came out to 13, sorry, I think it came out to 13 meters, which is not that bad. I think it has to be 18, 16 or 18, so it's definitely under. But this is why we're still in legals. We've paid for surveys, that's around 450, paid for feasibility, which is about 1k, 1.2k including VAT. The feasibility report inshallah will be done by Tuesday. That will let us know if Gateway 2 applies, but we're quite proactive. We want to know now because there are other stuff that we want to do. We're getting all the planning reports, it's all been printed out, all been analysed. You've already had the calls with our solicitors earlier. But yeah. But yeah, that's a little update on the deal. We're looking at around a 12 to 14 month project, closer towards 14 I think. And we're looking conservatively at £500,000 profit. We could go up to 650. But we've told investors £500,000. You know, if we hit that 2 million GDV, or if it's a bit higher, then yeah, investors are going to be happy and they're going to want to work with us again, inshallah. Proactive sometimes. We've already got this cut inside here, and we are now at the back of the building. Okay, I know we just broke into the building. Theoretically, we are going to buy it, so we couldn't get into the basement without it. I told them about being proactive, how it works.
Proactive, taking it into your own hands.
We couldn't get into the back. Listen, it looks bad, but we're genuinely not breaking in. Like, we're gonna go back and we had to unscrew some stuff, but we couldn't get in from there. And our basement flats that we're buying is there. Like, that's one basement, second one, third one, fourth. So we're buying all four, basically that entire strip. And we need to come here because we have to be able to see. But I'll show you what the Sommer's measuring there. But this is one of the basement flats down there. I know okay, look, it looks bad, I know, but the refurb's going to be crazy, so it's not going to look like that. Like, we're going to be pushing this wall, not there because there's sewers, but literally right there is what we've got the planning permission for. This is the entrance. This is one. That's flat 5. That's the one that's the 2-bedroom duplex. The 2-bedroom duplex is in here. And I know because there's a double wall that he was saying we might not be able to cut down. 100 million%.
So what was the issue here?
The issue was with the wall. Okay, this is the problem we have, guys. We've got this. Walk. Wait, show them. It's just... It's almost 6 foot and he barely reaches. It's starting to rain. But anyway, we'll show you the exit. Exit's nice. We don't have to come in through our little breakage. But you see, this is what people are not willing to do. I know it sounds stupid, but we came all this way out, we're here, it's raining, we don't want to be out. It's what $500,000's made. Exactly like this. Press that button. Oh, that's much better, isn't it?
I think Christian came back to me and said, look, they want to exchange next Friday.
He wants to do Tuesday, but I told Michael, I said, look, Michael, that's unrealistic. Like, they've said they'll do it next Friday, so leave them to do it next Friday.
Our solicitor is saying that even Friday is a push. Like, it's like a very, very slim chance of it happening on Friday, and we'll be realistically looking at the following week from Friday. And that's just what I can relay back to you. But if he wants to work with us on it, I mean, I don't want to take this long.
Why does Christian think it's going to take that long?
Only because the searches apparently have been delayed, and he's not had the queries that he's raised back in time, and he needs to clarify the development lease and all the bits and bobs. And now, obviously, with this excavation stuff, that could... Well, I hope it doesn't if Michael gives us everything, but that could take a couple of days as well.
That's fine. It needs to be put in just complete simple terms so that there is no margin for error. So I can manage it, it's fine, but just as long as we're doing everything possible to try and meet next week.
I completely understand, I agree with you. One more question, sorry I bombarded you, but because I think one of the flats might intervene with another flat next door to it. I'm not entirely sure, but the others I don't think they are. Have you heard anything about the party walls? Anything you've spoken with Michael about?
I I can ask him, he'll know. So you're asking if there are any party wall agreements?
Yeah, or if there needs to be any. Look, I've just read an email. If you can't exchange until that party wall agreement is in place, because I didn't read this till now. I just saw it as I've flicked through my emails.
Do you know if Christian has read the legal pack and that he can't see an agreement in place, or is he asking? Let me speak to Michael. I'll speak to Michael and find out.
Okay, please. And in regards to the excavation, that's very, very important as well, because obviously that's with the lenders now as well.
Hey Christian.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, pal. How are you? You right?
Yeah, not so bad. Ran through all the sort of stuff we spoke about on Saturday.
Okay.
He's asked me to raise it all directly with Jerry, which I will be doing today.
Okay.
And he was telling me stuff that he seemed to have already told you in terms of like, we've got the permission to excavate. And I'm like, well, that's nice. Where is it? And we mentioned about the party wall situation. So you claimed that you just need to serve a party wall notice rather than a party wall, enter into a party wall agreement. But I'll want full details of that from the seller's solicitor.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much what we had spoken about previously. When it comes to the landlord's approval for the works, do you want them to be under obligation to sort that prior to completion? Because at the moment they seem to be saying that it was all down to you.
I mean, it can be down to us, but that means that it would be prior to exchanging. So it's up to them. If they want to speed up the exchange, then they can do it. If they want us to do it, it'll be before we exchange. So it's up to them. If Michael wants this done fast, he should go get the permission. That's what I'm thinking in my head.
Yeah.
But he has the option for me to do it. It's just the consequence is time.
I'm not going to enter into the contract unless I know that it's been approved.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, I completely get that. Yeah. Okay, I'll go back to him on that basis then. And it was just a quick one. Are you able to let me have sight of the offer in principle so that I can get a rough idea about what they might be requiring?
Oh, from the lenders?
From the lenders, yeah.
Yeah, I can get someone to send that to you.
Okay, that'd be great. And I'll just keep you in the loop in dealing with the solicitor.
Okay, amazing. I'll have just a quick update, I'll have the feasibility test done by Tuesday. I've spoken to them about getting this party wall person to like speak to me. So they're putting me in touch with that person just to double check. Okay, perfect. We're still going in the right direction, and hopefully from my discussions with Blue, they can see that we are pushing this on. If we think we're going to be delayed with the searches, just let me know, just so I can update Louis on it. Yeah, no problem at all. Okay. So there's the loan for this deal. We got 1.2 million, 1.22 million. Our deductions, so fees and tranches, 162,000. Expected net loan, we're at 1.06 million. Expected net day one, 350,000. Debt's easy to raise. It's the equity. There's one thing I'm worried about that I wanted to let you know. But there's certain things that we would need before exchanging, like, you know, like the right to alter. Yeah. You know, stuff like that. I just wanted to let you know before, because you always said, you know, communication's key. There are stuff like that. It might be quick to do. If it's not, that prolongs it. And I'm just worried that I want you to know that. Like, the right to alter is number one. And number two, you know, the digging that we have to do in the communal area. I know that we need to get permission from the freeholder, and we are trying to do that. But these two things, we can't exchange before them. Imagine I exchange and then I can't even dig. Even that alone, the way it is hard to sell with that type of height that we've got.
Absolutely, and I completely agree. And I've told Michael that. I've said you can't expect them to well, they're not going to get a lending first of all. So he assures me he's already got permission from the freeholder. So I've requested that. Obviously, that information has been requested to Christian, so that's fine. With the license for alter, these things do not take a month. But where I've lost my ability to
it's like the simple things are not even being done, let alone the more harder things. Just the last one, Louis, with the lender. The lender also wants to come in to check the value and stuff, right? Remember he mentioned that by any chance, that, you know, to get lending, they want to do the value to see what the potential GDV could be with or without the digging, right, of the communal area. But he said our GDV is going to be way lower if we can't dig. So he's saying there's no point in him coming in until we know that that's done. So even that is also in that position that it's no point in him coming in until we know that we can dig and we've got the permission. So that's on hold as well right now.
I've requested that information sent through Jerry, whether it has or not. Check with Christian that he's received that information, and if he hasn't received it, could you ask to chase them for the information so they can get it back? I fully appreciate your position there, and I'll be saying the same to Michael. We need to provide it because they're not going to be able to do it without it, because they're not going to be able to get lending.
I wanted your opinion, but give me your truthful opinion, not to make the deal go through. I just, if it's going to be hard work, but I don't mind waiting. It's just so I know. If our permission, you know the flat that has that low ceiling?
Yeah.
Between me and you, if we can dig 3 to 4 centimeters, which me and you both know is not that much, unless it's more, just from what Michael told me, how hard is it to sell? I know it's sellable, but how long are we on that market for that one? Because like with me as a buyer, I would never buy it, but that's maybe my opinion, like someone else could.
To be honest, I don't know, Jamal, because I don't sell individual flats. It's one for our new homes team, really. I mean, look, I'm with you. I wouldn't personally buy a basement flat either. But there are overseas kind of buyers that will just buy it because for the postcodes, you're in kind of Kensington, you're close to Notting Hill, but you're not paying the same price per square foot or value as if you were right in the thick of those postcodes. So
there's also one thing, you know, with Michael's flats, his one has no low ceilings.
The excavators, that's what I was saying to the lender as well.
He's saying like 4 centimeters. His ones look huge. Like, can we do more than that? Is it possible for us to go down 50? Like, surely it must be like 30 or something, right?
It's very hard to say and speculate, Jamal, without kind of getting that confirmation from the documents that he's going to provide.
I've already done the feasibility. It's done.
Fine.
The feasibility it's not Gateway 2, 100%.
Yeah, going back to your question, I think there are overseas buyers that will they'll buy it because they're spending kind of 2 months here a year. They don't need anything spectacular. They don't need a bloody penthouse. They need somewhere that's kind of centrally located, nice postcode, and those are very rentable flats. So you might get a few investors that will take a view of them. My ex-partner, she sold something quite similar. She bought and sold fine. So.
Understood. Just to keep you in the loop, the architects that we're using, getting put in touch with the party wall planner people, just to double check. Michael said from his knowledge that he thinks party wall agreement's not needed at all, right?
No, he doesn't think it is. Basically, you just need to give the neighbour notice that you're working within 3 meters off their flat. Okay.
I've got them to start checking anyways, but I think that's like a 24, 48 hour thing, and I'll definitely know.
That's fine. One of his best mates wrote the white paper for the government on party wall agreements, so
he's pretty much going to be right then.
he's got him on speed dial. So we can get stuff answered and we can provide information all day long, and it's the other stuff that Michael needs to dig out.
Even if the structure drawings show the 2 centimeters down, there is no planning permission for that.
Do we need planning for that, or isn't that just freeholders' permission, freeholders' consent?
It's such a grey area, if I'm honest with you. Any changes in level can be considered a material change. Because for me, if I'm honest with you, and I've been doing this for 19 years, it's a very odd request to lower the floor by 2 centimeters. Because they need to do the 2.5 meters of internal ceiling height for a new unit.
Yeah, because the current units, they're not high. Their ceiling to floor ratio is not high enough. But they've got the interior planning, right, for the ceiling to lower the flooring in the inside of the flats. But the problem is, when you go down the steps to enter these basement premises, the communal area is very, very close to the ceiling. It's a health and safety risk. So it's not possible, because I'm 6 foot, and I'm literally, my head is touching the ceiling, and it's a steel ceiling, so it's dangerous, and people are not going to buy that. So surely this is my plan of thought, is How did they get planning, and the planning officer or someone didn't account for these issues? It's a major issue. It's
I understand, and that's the problem. Basically, when Dominic and I we were going through the drawings, the drawings that were submitted for this planning permission were very poor. There's so much information missing. They just comply with the bare minimum just to get you the planning application to get four different flats. But when you go from there to the reality, then technically, I mean, if we go by the book, you will have to resubmit the planning permission because that's a material change.
It's going to be a problem. Pull up. I'm not wasting my time anymore on this still. Walla.
What's 2 centimeters going to do?
Nothing. That's the thing. Nothing.
We've spent 5,000
bro, I'd rather spend 5 than spend hundreds and we'd end up going nowhere. Voila.
5 grand just gone.
Bro, man's talking about redoing planning, bro. No chance. Anything to do with basement, just avoid. Just avoid, bro.
What happens if it's more than 2 centimeters?
Show me. Because I ain't saying nothing. What do you want to ask me?
Hello?
Hey Robinson, it's Jamal. Apologies for the double call. Just a quick question.
Tell me.
If we wanted, let's say we do have 2 centimeters or 4, and let's say for some miracle it has, it's been, we found the evidence or whatever, or it's been approved or whatever it is.
Yeah.
If we wanted more, like 10, 15 centimeters, maybe even 30 centimeters added, that's a new planning application.
Yes. It's not just digging. It's digging and recreating exactly the same type of floor that was already approved. How old is this building?
It was built in 1870 or 1880.
The moment you lower the flooring, you need to comply with current building regulations. So that's going to add to the cost like quite a lot.
How much roughly? I know you can't put a ballpoint, but just to the nearest 100,000. We're talking about lower than, to the nearest 10,000. What do you think?
I would say probably 200, 150.
Because if this is the case, we might just pull out of the deal. Assalamualaikum guys. So just a quick update. This is a good, I wouldn't say learning experience from our side, but maybe a learning experience from your guys' side. When you deal with big deals, right? Saying the word big is quite subjective, but let's say when you're dealing with a project that's around £2 million GDV, especially when you've got a lot of attributes, a lot of moving parts. For example, when you're just buying one property and your, let's say property's like 1.2, 1.3 million, a million on the refurb, and then you do about 3 million GDV. It's not a lot of moving parts. You have a lot of moving parts when it comes to the refurbishment, but the buying process, I would argue, is quite simple. But when you start dealing with four properties, especially basement flats are, I would argue, difficult in the UK, and a lot of regulations, and there's just too many moving parts. So with this particular deal, we spent 4 months on it, me and Osama ourselves. In hindsight, I know it's not a lot of money compared to a 2 million GDV, but we had to spend £7,000 just to find out if the deal was worthy or not. And it was just too difficult for us to move forward with it. And I thought it would be, I think online we show a lot of our success, which is great. You see us buying property's worth millions, we're raising finance, we're going to member clubs, where alhamdulillah, money's not bad, multiple properties in Morocco, flying, back and forth on a weekly basis. It's quite glamorous, right? But for example, this wouldn't have been something that we show online. So the next purchase you see, you would just be like, oh, amazing, yeah, they got another one. But you don't see the fails along the way. So this is an example of a fail, The £7,000 isn't kind of what's me and Osama are dwelling on. It's more of the time. You hear the expression, time is money. But to work 4 months, investors are involved. But you might be thinking, what was the main issue? So the first issue we had was it Gateway 2? Now, Gateway 2 is a regulation that came after Grenfell, and there's 2 attributes for it. Either the building has to be 18 meters high or no more than 6 stories. But actually, and this is why it's important to have a very good team, theoretically, those are the 2 attributes, yes. And our building was under 18 meters and it was less than 6 stories. Great. But after paying for consultants and paying good money for them, we realize that those aren't the only attributes. When something is regulated, especially when it's new, it hasn't been polished, which means that you can have a regulation which it's just been put there to be developed later, and that's what's happened with Gateway 2. So we've been told that the building is from 1880, so that's a long time ago. So we've been told that the bricks are too soft, and that the construction, it easily added, just from that alone, like an extra 200,000, $250,000 towards the build. That started to make it, alhamdulillah, profits would have been about 600k. So we still got 400k, 350k profits. That's not bad. But then what became difficult was that if Gateway 2 applies, and it's very likely that it would because of the bricks and because of how old the building is, that for us to get permission on the build, it may take us, online guideline says 9 to 12 months. I know people and they're 2 years in and waiting. If this was a full cash purchase where, we pay 600-700k towards this, if you're going to make 600-700k anyways, and it's going to take you 2 years and money's not an issue and you can tie up 700k, great. But with us, we were using Islamic bridging and Islamic development finance, so for us to wait 2 years is just too high risk. And then on top of that, the person was very sneaky. The vendor applied for planning permission, and there are two types of planning permission. You got planning permission, which is the proper one, and you got planning permission when you're very, and I know that this person was very affluent, well-known, multi-millionaire. I mean, he bought 2 of the buildings in 2009 or 10 for 24.5 million. So, alhamdulillah, to have 25 million back then, you're doing all right. So I knew he was quite affluent and he had good connections. I think he paid his connections in the borough in order just to approve the planning. Because when I got my planning consultants to check it over, the planning was very weak. And it started making sense on why he got the planning for the other for the other side of the building, and he done it. Then he's tried to say that he's retiring and he wants to sell this, which makes sense. But then after getting to know him a little bit, I slowly started to realize that that wasn't necessarily true, because he still carry on with other works. So why not carry on with this one? If the other one worked on the other side of the building, why would you not do this one? And that's when I started to think, he just wanted to shift this quickly, and there were reasons. And the reasons were the reasons that I found out. On top of that, he was pushing us and threatening us and telling us that he's going to take it to auction and do it now. And when someone's rushing you and they don't allow you to do certain checks, it means they've got things to hide. So you got Gateway 2, you got the planning was really weak. We have to reapply for planning. I've paid $7,000 for professionals to tell me, and they've told me black and white everything that I'm telling you. So with all of this in mind, for us to do this project, even the cost analysis, that we should have a 90-95% accuracy rate from the surveyors that we used, they're telling us that the accuracy rate is only 70%, and they quoted us 700k. So 700k for the works at only 70% accuracy. There's 30% that can go missing. 7 times 3 is 210,000. So there's 210,000 on top that we might have to account for. That pushes our build now to about 900k plus. We're touching almost 1 million refurb, when in hindsight I thought it would be around 350, 400, which it would have been if we didn't have all these issues. So it just didn't become viable, And alhamdulillah, some people would go into this deal, make a big loss and say property's not for them, property's a scam. This is why you have to pay. You could see in this vlog, constant back and forth. We're in multiple countries, doesn't matter what country we're in, meetings paying, lag coming in, out. But it's got to be done. But this still's not for us. Back in the UK, back to the viewings, and we'll get another one. And when we, I'll show you guys some viewings and we can see. Peace.